I beg to disagree with your opinion. I still believe in my own thoughts that the impeachment court is sui generis, and I think the impeachment court is sui generis, and I believe that the Supreme Court is still higher than anyone else, any court in particular, including the impeachment court.
Accessing the bank accounts, we opted to vote whether we would respect the Supreme Court ruling or not. That is an exercise of the authority of the impeachment court over the Supreme Court.
Maybe we can ask.
Fortunately,
Opo, alam niyo po kasi sa ngayon po, ang mga kapatid niyo pong Muslim ay nasa iba't ibang lugar na po ng Pilipinas. Katunayan, basta may palengke po dyan, meron po dyan mga Muslim na Maranao, meron pong tausog dyan, may yakan po dyan. Napakalaking bagay po kapag ito pong batas na ito ay maisagawa na po natin. Opo, at nandito naman po yung ating chairman. Chairman, 200 million po.
sinabi po ng ating majority leader na nakausap po niya si Chairman Win at si Chairman Win ay nagsabing okay at ngayon nag-oo si Chairman Win doon sa halagang 200 milyon.
Opo, maraming salamat po patungkol dyan. At meron din po uling pinirmahan ang ating pong Pangulo. Pero hindi pa po nagagawa po ang IRR nito. Ito naman po yung digitalization. Kapipirma lang po niya ito noong September. Pero baka po sa 2027 budget na po ito. Opo. Sa ibang tanong naman po, kamusta po yung personnel po ng sa Sharia Court? Dati po kasi nagkakaroon ng problema, suliranin, dahil sa batas po, sa konstitusyon at doon po sa BOL, nakalagay po doon, kailangan sila po ay Sharia lawyer at the same time sila po ay membro ng bar. Opo, gusto ko lamang pong malaman kung kamusta po yung mga nag-a-apply po ng ating mga judges po.
Meron kasing mga batas na nag-create ng Sharia courts na ang requirement para sa Sharia circuit lang. Yung iba naman ay kinakailangan abogado rin.
Meron po bang problema sa mga nag-a-apply po o kompleto na po?
Mas attractive daw kasi yung regular courts na at bilang miyembro ng bar, kaya mas marami ang doon napupunta.
Okay po. So wala pong problema na sa mga nag-apply po?
Wala namang problema na kakaunti lang ang nag-a-apply.
Opo.
Mananawagan
po ako dyan.
Mapagpipilian.
Opo, mananawagan po ako dyan sa ating mga kapatid para mapunuan po yung napakagandang batas po na yan. Opo.
Yes, malaking bagay po yun pagka si Senator Robin Padilla ang nanawagan. Palagay ko marami po silang makukumbinsi.
Maraming salamat po. Sa ibang topic naman po, ginoong sponsor. Opo. Noong September 19 po, ang nagbigay po ang pahayag ang Supreme Court at ang Pilipinas na tayo po ay hindi na po miyembro ng ICC. Noong September 21, September 2021 yata po yun, 2021, sinasabi na meron pa rin po tayong pananagutan sa ICC. Ang tanong ko po, ang bansang Hungary po, noong June 2025, sila po ay kumalas sa ICC para po sa pagbisita sa kanila ni Prime Minister Netanyahu at hindi po nila hulihin si Netanyahu. Ang tanong ko po, yung po bang kaso ni Senator Bato, kung totoo po, kasi hanggang ngayon po wala pa rin pong kasiguraduhan kung mayroong warrant of arrest talaga o wala. Kapag hindi po ba natin surrender si Senator Bato, meron po ba tayong sasagutin sa ICC? Yun lang po, wala naman po ako. Yun lang po ang tanong ko. Meron po ba tayong sagot doon kung hindi natin siya isusurrender?
Gaya ng nabanggit kanina nung nagtatanong si Senator Dante Marcoleta tungkol dito sa kaso ng ating kasamahan na si Senator Bato de la Rosa, mayroong limitasyon ng ating mga justice ng Korte Suprema na kapag ang isang kaso ay pending at mayroong petisyon ng ating kasamahan before the Supreme Court, ay dahil sa subjudice ruling, hindi po sila maaaring magbigay ng opinion at pahayag sa labas nung kaso mismo. At yung doon lamang po sila maaaring magbigay ng komento sa kanilang mga desisyon.
Maraming salamat po. Wala po ako magagawa. Si Senator Marcoleta nga tumahimik eh. Opo, di tatahimik na rin po ako. Sa isang ano na rin po, isa pong hiwalay pong topic, last topic po. Napanood ko po sa isang TV program ang isa po nating masasabing dating kalihim at dati din po nating kaibigan. Sinabi po niya na ang batas, we can bend the law, ang sabi niya. Ang tanong ko po, ako po kasi ay naniwala sa batas. Ako po ay 3 taon nakakulong. Pinabayaan ko po na I served my sentence dahil naniniwala po ako sa batas. Ang tanong ko po, pwede po ba yun?
Well, merong kasabihan na Latin maxim na dura lex, sed lex. Diba? The law may be harsh, but it is the law. Ibig sabihin, masakit man, diba? Ang sinasabi ng batas, yan ang batas. At kung akong tatanungin, hindi maaring baluktutin. Kasi Ben, baluktot.
Opo. Kasi yun po yung napanood ko sa TV na pwede daw pong baluktutin na parang ruler. Opo.
So, ang sa aking opinion, hindi maaaring baluktutin ang batas. Ngayon, maaaring baka ang interpretasyon nila ay hindi naman nating, we are not breaking the law, we are only bending it. Pero gaya nga ng nasasabi ng napakarami, pag may 2 o 3 abogado sa isang kwarto, 3, 4 o 5 o 6 ang opinion sa isang usapin. So, so yun po. May kanya-kanyang opinion ng ating mga abogado. But of course, sa huling banda, ang final arbiter nga ng lahat ng interpretasyon ng batas ay ang ating mga korte.
Opo. Sa mataas pong hukuman, hindi po. Hindi po pwede.
Well, ako na lang po ang sasagot. Hindi ito opinion ng Korte Suprema. Opinion ko po ito. Hindi ho pwede.
Maraming salamat po. Yun lamang po. Mabuhay po kayo. Opo.
Maraming salamat kay Ginoong Senator Robin Padilla at maganda po ang kanyang mga naimungkahi na madagdagan ang pondo para ma-establish na at magkaroon na ng dagdag na Sharia courts, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next, to propound some questions to the Judiciary is Northerners' good colleague, Senator Jingo Estrada.
Senator Jingo Estrada is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the good sponsor of the budget of the Judiciary yield to just a few questions?
Most willingly to our colleague, Senator Jingo Estrada.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. With regard to the pending cases of the Judiciary, may I know what is the average number of cases that they handle every year? In a year?
For lower courts in a year?
Yeah.
Yes, pumapasok. May we have a minute suspension?
Yes, please. Yeah,
Session suspended.
yeah. Judiciary. Maybe we can request the committee to just submit
Yes.
the documents that I've been asking for.
We will submit the report, specifically the number of the caseload last year, and then the caseload this year as of June. In the first level, second level, Court of Tax Appeals, Sandigan Bayan, Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Jinggoy.
Thank you. Dahil sabi po ni Senator, our majority floor leader kanina, bakit mo ba tinatanong yun? Ba't mo pinabibilis yung kaso mo? Baka mauna raw ako. So, hindi ko na siguro tatanungin. Anyway, Mr. President, there are 41,587 permanent positions in the judiciary. May I know what is the reason for the 12,000 plus permanent positions that remain unfilled as of 2024?
Some are newly created positions, 12,000 of the 12,000 vacancies, and some are being processed for filling up. But I agree with the distinguished senator that that's a huge amount of vacancies, considering that's more than a fourth or about one-fourth,
Are these
25%.
RTC, MTC, or all, including the
For
For all.
positions.
including the Court of Appeals, Court of Tax Appeals, and Sandigan Bayan?
That is correct, for all courts.
Do they plan to fill it up?
Yes,
All of these 12,000 permanent positions
well, yes, that is what they are saying.
in a year's time?
Yes, some cases are brought about by retirement or promotion or resignation or termination, which then creates these vacancies. In fact, I shared that with the JBC and the budget hearing that there has to be a catch-up plan to fill up these vacancies. Otherwise, baka they're just running in place. Habang nag-a-appoint at nagkakaroon ng new appointees, meron namang vacancy na nade-declare. No? So, that is the answer, sir.
All right. With regard to the COA findings, I am informed that the auditor rendered an adverse opinion on the fairness of the presentation of the financial statements of the Supreme Court as of December 31, 2024, due to various accounting errors and omissions amounting to 12.2 billion. May I know the explanation on this audit observation?
May we have a minute suspension, Mr. President?
Session suspended.
Power, sole, it says sole power. It does not say anything else but sole power to try and decide impeachment cases.
Well, still, I beg to disagree with your opinion. I still believe, in my own thoughts, that the impeachment court is sui generis, and I think the impeachment court is sui generis, and I believe that the Supreme Court is still higher than anyone else, any court in particular, including the impeachment court.
In fact, Mr. President, in the impeachment case of Chief Justice Corona, when the Supreme Court issued a temporary restraining order, an injunction, and as to the bank accounts, I will remember this because the late Senator Enrile, who was our
Yes.
presiding officer, opted for us to vote on whether or not we would respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. In that regard, the vote was to respect the ruling.
I think that was only a resolution issued by the Supreme Court. It was not a decision.
No, it was a vote by the, I was there, Mr.
Yes,
President.
I was also there.
Yes,
I
you
was
were
also
there.
part
We
of the-
voted
I was
to
also part of
respect,
the
we
impeachment
voted to
trial.
respect 1210. We voted to respect the Supreme Court ruling.
Yes,
In
I
other
know.
words, we could have voted not to. But of course, that was not the case.
Yes, I know. I was.
And it was an exercise of our exclusive power as an impeachment court.
What if it was adverse to the decision?
Well, that's
of,
speculative,
the decision
Mr.
of the Supreme
President.
Court.
The
What
point
will
is,
happen?
that's speculative, Mr. President. The point is, we voted.
Yes, I
we
know.
did not decide to just respect the Supreme Court ruling. We voted as an impeachment court.
Yes, I
we
was-
exercised our authority as the supreme or the sole power, having the sole power and sole jurisdiction to try cases.
Yes, I was also one of them who voted to respect the decision or the resolution of the Supreme Court not to open the foreign, I think it was the foreign bank accounts of the late Chief Justice Corona. What I'm asking, kung sakasakali, what if the vote was overturned? I mean, 12-10 in favor of not respecting the opinion of the Supreme Court. What will happen?
Well, it's speculative, Mr. President. It didn't happen, so.
Being a lawyer, maybe you can educate this representation because I am
Well,
not
also
a lawyer.
being a lawyer, if it's a speculative, if
Maybe we
I'm being
can-
asked to answer a scenario that's speculative, I'd rather wait for the actual case. In this actual, and what I'm citing is the facts that when the Supreme Court ruled to enjoin us from accessing the bank accounts, we opted to vote whether we would respect the Supreme Court ruling or not. That is an exercise of the authority of the impeachment court over the Supreme Court.
Maybe we can ask the-
Fortunately, and I think every lawyer must strive to harmonize what may appear to be conflicting provisions of
Yeah.
the Constitution. And the Senate then voted 12-10 to respect the ruling of the Supreme Court and harmonize both powers.
Mr. President, if I may, with the
Yeah,
two
Yes,
majority
gentlemen.
leader is recognized.
Thank you. Even this last decision of the Supreme Court on Vice President Sara Duterte, we also voted 18-5-1. It was 18 in favor to archive because of the decision of the Supreme Court. So there was also a vote. 5 went against that decision to archive and 1 abstention. That's our presiding officer. So we also voted at that.
And that is the exercise. That is and I agree. That is an exercise of the impeachment court, and therefore it decided to archive the case in that regard. Oh, sorry, the vote to archive was not done by the impeachment court. It was done in plenary. Yes, so that would be a different set of facts.
All right. Okay, Mr. President. Does the Supreme Court has the authority to review the impeachment proceedings for grave abuse of discretion, for example?
The Supreme Court has the power to exercise. It has the when there is grave abuse of discretion, the Constitution provides that power to the Supreme Court to intervene and to correct what may have been an abuse of authority or power of other branches of government. It's the power of judicial review.
Okay, assuming we convict a impeachable officer, can it be elevated to the Supreme Court? No more.
No.
The
That's
decision or the ruling of the impeachment court is final.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Again, maybe you can ask the opinion of maybe the court administrator or the justices of the Supreme Court here present with regard to my question propounded to you, Mr. President, with regard to the who is higher, the Supreme Court or the impeachment court.
Well, I think considering that there is still a motion for reconsideration on the positions taken by the House of Representatives, and there is a pending case, then they would prefer, yes, kulang daw ng 12. But kidding aside, it would be sub judice.
Okay. Anyway, that's all, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Sponsor. Thank you for the justices of the Supreme Court, the court administrator, and to all the justices present here today. Thank you very much.
Senator Lauren.
Thank you very much to the good senator from San Juan. Maraming salamat. Safe na ako.
Safe mga tanong mo. Anyway, Mr. President, next to propound, hopefully, just 2 questions. She promised me just 2 questions today. Is no other than our Vice Chairman of the Committee of Vice Chairman of the Committee on Appropriations, and our former Senate President Pro Tem, our champion of the environment, no other than Senator Lauren Legarda.
Senator Lauren Legarda is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was going to skip asking questions because the Majority Leader requested me not to ask, but I miss the esteemed members of the Judiciary because I, just like the chair now, defended their budget for quite a while, but it was a different batch of members of the Judiciary that was more than 10 years ago. And so my questions, as always, will be on important issues and something that could help perhaps in giving clarity to the budget or even increasing it. And my first question will be on critical funding for digitalization. May this representation know how will the Judiciary secure the restoration of critical funding for digitalization, for new court positions and infrastructure to strengthen accountability and access to justice amid substantial budget cuts and persistent capacity gaps. I say this as the Judiciary has its 2026 budget with significant funding shortfalls that jeopardize ongoing reforms in its ability to deliver timely justice. From the 105.76 billion, correct me if I'm wrong, it requested, only 67.945 billion was approved, resulting in a 36% reduction that leaves digitalization, new court positions, and infrastructure far behind the operational needs. I could go on and on and on, but these are some of the most affected areas from the budget cuts. In fact, I know that the Judiciary is seeking the restoration of 21.31 billion to fill thousands of court positions, to strengthen the office of the Judiciary Marshals, and to complete priority halls of justice. This is a very long list. That is my first question, Mr. President. And could you kindly answer it, especially with regards to digitalization, which is very important? Thank you.
Thank you for the question regarding. Convergence, isn't that? Yeah. Yes, thank you for the question. Based on the committee report, we have actually added, sa request ng Judiciary, Justice Sector Convergence Program. From the House, from the 2026 GAB, it was 175,819,000. We have recommended an additional 150 million, which will then, which is now reflected in the committee report, a total of 325,819,000 for the Justice Sector Convergence Program, which includes e-filing, e-services, the issuance service of court processes, enable electronic submissions, as well as warrants and subpoenas. That's one of the increases that we are proposing. This will likewise include securing interagency transmissions with the DOJ, DILG, and other national justice information partners.
Thank you for that, Mr. President. May I be informed whether the cut of 36% from the proposed 105 billion is accurate? That only 67.945, just to be,
Yes, that is accurate.
yes, may we know which of the many aspects will be most affected? Is it the new court positions? Would it be the strengthening accountability? Would it be digitalization? If it's more than 1/3 of the budget, may we know which is the most important if you would put it in the order of priority for restoration of the budget?
Yes, according to the court administrator, the most important would be the personnel services because it would cover lump sum amounts for the creation of new positions. Specifically, the Office of Regional Managers under the court administrator, 375 positions. Unified Legal Aid Service Office, which provides additional legal assistance and access and training. Office of the Judiciary Marshals, this is actually 1,000 positions that will be new positions. Social Service and Counseling, 65 positions. So Office of the Bar Confidant, Office of the Chief Justice, lower courts, for 10,147 newly created positions. Apart from personnel, maintenance and operating expenses have also been slashed. The total would be about 1.34 billion for operations of PhilJA training, MOE for 15 regional court managers, professional services, rent, lease, MOE, and for capital outlay as well, transportation equipment, ICT equipment, intangible assets.
All of those that you've mentioned, Mr. President, are those that were presumably in Tier 2 that were not accepted, or were those?
Yes, Tier
Those
2.
are all in Tier 2. And those are the aspects of their work that will be affected. I simply
correct.
wanted to put it on record, but I'm sure that the chair would try to restore some of these important, even if it's in Tier 2, because sometimes a DBM would not, well, they're doing their job, but would not be able to know that there's actually fiscal space, especially since we cut a big chunk from DPWH, more than the 255B from flood control, but even others which don't have coordinates, etc. So there's actually some fiscal space, just to put that on record. And so it would be helpful if the judiciary would be able to prioritize those in Tier 2 in case the chair of the committee, Senator Gatchalian, and the chair of the judiciary budget would consider. That's what I used to do 10 years ago. Thank you. Having said that, Mr. President, I look back, way back in 2008, when the Supreme Court designated 117 environmental courts nationwide to prioritize cases involving environmental protection, but many of these salas remain regular trial courts with added environmental jurisdiction rather than fully equipped specialized courts. highlighting the need to reassess their capacity, the resources, and effectiveness amid today's more complex environmental disputes. So my question is, of these 117 environmental courts almost 20 years ago, how many are still operational, if any? Where are they located? And do they handle exclusively environmental cases? Or are they mostly regular